We're gonna do a floor bar class. It might be a little bit easier for you to do floor bar than regular bar at this time. You don't really need that much space, just a space where if you lay down with your arms out and your legs out, you don't touch anything, you should be fine.
Social distancing.
I would probably say level 2, this might be a little over your head. You can try it.
So basically I'm here so that way it can be expectations versus reality.
Now my athletes will do it because a lot of times when I'm teaching floor bar, it's really hard because I was gifted a turnout.
Life is so hard for you.
No, but it's hard for me to kind of understand.
Why I can't do it?
No.
No, it's just easy.
It's hard. Yeah, it's hard for me to show it in a different way because my legs
already go there.
Yeah, so it's easier for
Someone who's compromised.
yes, maybe something like there's a lot of exercises and I'll point them out when we do them. Like it's going to look different on me versus somebody that doesn't have open hips because my heels are going to be flat on the floor, my knees are going to be side. And that's not the reality for most people. So when you're laying on your stomach, like my feet are completely flat and hers aren't. So you'll see when we get there. So,
But you can't do this.
no, that hurts me. We're gonna start with, well, I guess I'll face sideways. A stretch and flex.
We gotta buckle up.
Why?
Okay, let them see you.
Okay. We're gonna start with the stretch and flex combination. So you start with, in parallel, we're gonna do it turned out next, but you start parallel feet. You can't really see because it's like black on black, but you're trying to keep your heels together and your toes apart. So you're still shaping your feet. You don't want to be like completely flat like this. You're still shaping as if you were, but your knees are facing up to the ceiling. So you're trying really hard to keep the backs of your knees on the floor.
This video is sponsored by Fabletics.
It is.
Fabletics.
They will never sponsor me.
Oh,
Anyway. So we're just gonna start pointed. You just do ball, flex, ball, point, flex, ball, point 4 times. And then you pull them in.
Oh, we did
2,
this in my
3,
ballet
4.
bar. You didn't watch my video.
I did, but you sped it up. You pull it in 1, 2, 3, 4, and you shoot them out 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're gonna do 2 sets of that. Things that you need to think about. First of all, you shouldn't be slouched over. Sit up nice and tall, as if you were actually standing in ballet class. Stomach to your backbone. So every single time you do a different movement with your toes. So when you bend your toes, you're squeezing your knees harder so that that little space doesn't pop up. When you flex, same thing. You don't want any space to ever come out. And if you really focus on it, you really notice how much you let it go. So really try to keep that completely on the floor. Yeah. Let's go. Okay. Sit nice and tall.
This is why I'm sore.
It's okay. Sit up tall.
I am sitting up tall.
Okay. So we go ball and flex. Ball and point. Keep that space closed. Ball and flex. Ball and point. Keep squeezing. Ball. Keep shaping those feet also. Your heels should be together. Your toes are apart. As best as you can, at least. One more time. Ball and flex. Keep squeezing. Ball and point. And pull them in. Yeah, you can push over if you want. Heels should still be together, toes apart. And shoot them out. Squeeze. Try to touch that wall with your toes. Really squeeze those legs out. And pull them in again.
So what do you have going for me?
And squeeze. Try to close that little gap. It's one set. One more set. Squeeze it harder. You should start feeling it in those quads, but keep pushing those knees down.
It's never good.
Ugh, I feel it.
I'm still sore from doing it the other day, but my knee hurts, so I'm not doing it.
I saw space. No space.
I don't have any spaces.
Hmm?
I don't have any spaces.
You have big pants on.
I really don't, see?
And pull them in. So when you shoot them out, really try to touch that wall over there. No spaces under those knees. Keep reaching, keep reaching, keep reaching. Keep squeezing. One more time. Keep reaching, 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 reaching. And relax. Woo! You can tell I haven't done that in a long time. Ugh. Dead legs. Okay. Okay. Now what do we do? I do it turned out in first position. We'll go a little bit faster doing it turned out, but same concept. So this time your feet are turned out. Your knees,
Mine's not gonna look
you
any
can't
different.
see it from this angle, but same thing. You're trying to make backs of your knees touch each other as if they were doing when you were parallel and they were touching the floor. So as turned out as you can. My heels don't go together because my legs are huge.
Mine do.
My calves are
My
huge,
knees don't go together,
so
though.
my whatever. But heels are facing each other. Your feet are still shaped.
But my
And
my
you do the same
upper
thing.
legs don't look any different than they did when I was parallel.
So same thing. You go ball and flex and
Sit.
ball and point. 4 times. This time when we pull it in, you're going to a little butterfly position. Your knees are going down as far as you can without like pushing them down. Heels are up, pinky toes are on the floor,
I can push yourself.
and then you shoot them out. When you shoot them out, try to make those knees glide along the floor, staying turned out all the way down. We'll go a little bit faster on the turn out, but
That was a breakdance move.
I think this is a good one. Okay, ready?
Oh, we're facing them?
Yeah, fine.
Oh man.
Go ball and flex. Keep squeezing. There should be no space in between your legs.
Yeah, but there's a giant space.
We'll close it.
I can't.
No excuses. Keep shaping those feet. Keep squeezing those knees together. And pull them in. Try to get those knees down to the floor, heels up to the ceiling, as far in as you can go, and shoot them out. And squeeze. And really see which foot is good and which foot isn't.
My left foot is
And pull it in.
not as good as my right foot.
My left foot is better than my right foot.
I hurt my left foot. But my
One more set.
this leg is straighter than like my left turnout is better than my right turnout, and my left leg is more hyperextended than my right.
Okay.
Well, look at them. Look at how high this one comes off the floor and the other one does not.
I think I'm pretty normal.
What?
I think mine are pretty normal. Oh, it burns. Keep squeezing those knees together. If your quads aren't on fire, then you're not working hard enough. Pull those heels up to the ceiling and shoot them out. Squeeze. Try to touch the wall in front of you. Try to close this little gap. Keep pushing. One more time.
I just hurt my pinky toe.
Ooh, but that hurt. Straightened it too hard.
See, look.
Keep squeezing and release. This angle's better, but these toes are better.
This one goes down.
But I think they're pretty equal.
Like, look at that.
Okay.
Look at that.
Yeah, that's my foot. That's better than my foot. Okay. Okay, so the next few combinations are going to be laid out kind of the same way. So we're going to do one set sitting up this way, one set down like this, and one set up in your stomach like this. So we're just going to talk about your posture in those really fast so that I don't have to explain it every single time. So when you're sitting up, like I said earlier, you're sitting up tall with your belly button to your backbone. And you can put your arms out to the side. You can either keep them straight, or if you want to work those muscles as if you were like holding them, you can round them, but still press your shoulders down. When you're on your back, we're like this. Your seat is always pinched up. So you can tell the difference if I'm like this or if I'm like this. Your hips need to be really flat in front. It would be as if you were standing up and you were sticking your butt out, would be like this. You don't want to do that. You want to push your seat under. So anytime you're here,
seat down, center up.
Yeah. Anytime you're here, obviously your shoulders can be rolled forward a little bit because of where your arms are, but everything else should be pretty straight. Your belly button should be to your backbone. Seat is pulled up and legs straight. And then when you're laying on your stomach, this one's the tricky one for most people. So your arms out to the side like this, your belly button's to your backbone, and you have a really straight spine here. And again, your seat should be pinched, so you shouldn't be relaxing. There should be no little space under here, because again, that'd be like you're sticking your butt out. You wanna always make sure when you're laying on your stomach that your hip bones are like jamming down into the floor. As soon as you feel it go like this, that means you're not using your seat, and you have to squeeze it down to the floor. So, next few combinations, that's where we're gonna be. So first we're gonna do plies. Just in first position. So you're just here. You just do bend and stretch, flex and point, flex and point. We'll do it 4 times here, 4 times on your back, 4 times on your stomach. Okay, same as that last flex and stretch exercise that we did in first position. Every time you plie, you're finding this position with your heels up and your knees as far down as you can. Every time you straighten, you're trying to find that straight leg, shaped foot position. So this is kind of what I was talking about before, where people with like not the best turnout or not as flexible hips, when you go on your back, when you go on your stomach, it's gonna be a little bit different. So like, you're essentially going into a frog position.
Let me do it.
So most people it's gonna look like this. And
Well, I can do a frog.
okay, well then you're not really one to demonstrate.
I mean, I can.
You don't want to do that. So you don't want to push your feet down to the floor and have your butt up in the air. Do it again, like that. If anything, push your hips down. And if your feet are up in the air, like up here a little bit, that's okay. Like if you're up like this, that's fine. I'd rather be like this as your plie than this as your plie. And if you can't bend your knees that much, say that once you get to here, if you go any further, your hips start going up, then just stay right here. That's fine. That doesn't really happen for a lot of people, but just go as far as you can with your hips still staying on the floor. So I can go pretty high up and have a pretty flat position. Some people are gonna stop here, some are gonna stop here. Some people, they're gonna have their feet up here. So you just wanna make sure that your hips are staying pressed down to the floor. As soon as they start to peak up, that's when you know to stop and to go back a little bit. So, yeah. One more thing, when you're laying on your back and doing this combination, make sure, so your seat is pinched up, you're in first position. It's still pinched when you go here. Don't let it be like this. See the difference? I have a big butt, so you can see. You don't want to be here. You want to be here. Okay. Here we go.
Doing this facing that?
Let's face each other.
Oh. Fun.
Because then you can see when you go.
we can see expectations versus reality.
Good. Ready? So first position. Feet in first position. Sitting up tall. Arms out. And we go. Plie. And stretch. Plie. And stretch. Keep those knees together. Flex. And point. Should be up on those seat muscles. that seat up. If you can't keep your legs together, that's okay. Just make sure they're staying straight. Like my inner thighs aren't allowing my legs to stay together. Keep that seat up. It is up. Keep it.
I'm in second position.
Keep those knees really straight. 2 more. Should we feel it in those inner thighs? In those seat muscles? You're not working hard enough.
I feel in my seat and my cranial's heavy.
Last set. Keep that seat up. Keep turning out. We're going to roll over and get into that position of your stomach pretty quickly.
Oh, I forget how mouth wide it's supposed to be.
So just keep those hips down on the floor. Carry's fine. Make sure you're not sitting in your sway back. You're still holding your stomach.
I can't do this one.
Oh, that's another thing I forgot to do. So you want to keep your knees straight. So if you don't have the turnout, I'll show you on the next one. So if your feet aren't flat, let's say I'm like this, when you flex, don't flex from here. You want to flex from your actual foot. So your legs might go up and down like that, and that's okay. One more set. So flex and keep those knees straight. Very good. Woo! Oh man. Gotta tell you.
My kneecaps.
Yeah, sorry, I forgot to say that earlier. But we're gonna do a few more combinations that might require you to do that kind of thing. So again, if my feet, say if I don't have a great first position or a great turnout, and when I go stretch, my heels are kind of up to the ceiling. When you flex, don't flex from here so that your knees stay on the floor because you're not using any muscles. You want to keep your knees straight. The whole shape might go up and down, and that's okay because you're still holding your muscles and you're still strengthening. If you just let your legs, your thighs relax on the floor and you just flex and stretch your feet, you're not really doing anything. So, okay. All right, so the next one, you start in first position. Same thing, you go in. This time, instead of closing to first position, you close to second position. So again, you're here, you just leave your knees wherever they are and straighten out, and that's your second position. I don't like facing you guys. So you go in, second position. I'll do diagonal. There we go. Okay. So, sorry from the beginning. You go in, second. Then you go right foot passe and out, left foot passe and out. Then they go together and they squeeze to first. That's one set. We're gonna do 4 sets. So you go in and second, passe, second, double passe, together. That's a combination. A lot of people in this exercise, you can let me know if you do this. I've been thinking about it, so I don't really do it that much anymore. But you can really see how you compensate your passe at the bar or in your regular ballet class when you do this exercise. So a lot of people, they'll be here and they'll go to passe and they'll move their standing leg so that they can get their knee down or something like that. So again, if you don't have the best turnout and you bend and you're here, you don't want to go like this with your hip to make that leg flat. So it'd be like standing in passe at the bar and sticking your butt out or letting your hips rock back so that your knee looks like it's side instead of keeping your hips flat and just pressing it as far as back as your body will allow you to. So yeah.
You're shaving your feet.
Yeah, so you just want to keep everything together. You can really feel it. You can try a few before you start the combination. You really want to be pulled up on that seat muscle so that when you bend this knee, that's literally all you're doing is bending your knee. You're not bending your knee and twisting and opening and doing all these other things. So anyway, we do 4 sets of that. Here, on your back, and then on your stomach. The one on your stomach, same thing. you're in your second position. You might go to here, and that's okay. You just don't want to be like this going into your passe, because again, that's not a correct passe when you're standing up. So, really keeping your hips down, bending your knee, trying to get that foot down to the floor if you can. If not, just go as far as you can. So, got it? Okay. In, out, passe, second, together, close. Okay. I guess I'll face diagonal.
Oh, my ankle just got stuck.
In and second, passe, and second, together, and close. And again. Don't do any twisties with your hip, just bend your knee and get a passe. 2 more sets. I think my second is too wide. Might be. After this set, we're going to go back on our elbows. Squeeze that seat up. And out. Keep squeezing that seat. This is one where you can really see if your hips are rocking. Really want to hold that standing seat muscle when the other foot goes in the passe. One more time. After this one, we're going to roll to our stomach. You can't see you. Don't worry.
They can't see me, so it's okay.
Keep your hip bones pressed down. Don't let your feet up. One more.
You want to see what it looks like?
Yeah.
Okay, ready? In, second, passe.
That's okay though.
I know, but it hurts my knee. Straight, parallel.
Yeah, I think about my seat. So, I mean, since we did all of those other exercises and you like should kind of feel your seat at this point, all those muscles working. If at any point you don't feel anything like any pain, I guess, then you know that you're not using your seat muscles. There shouldn't be pain, just like
It's a good
working.
hurt. Something you've never felt before.
There's a difference between pain, like ouch, or like a working muscle. You want to
Good
feel
hurt,
the
bad
working
hurt.
muscle. So, anyway.
Good hurt is your muscles. Bad hurt is a broken bone.
Exactly. All right, so we're going to do tendus on your side. This one's kind of weird to explain how you're supposed to lay down, but so this is how I do it. This feels most comfortable for me. Either put this arm out to the side or you can be up like this. Just make sure that you're not like
coming out of your butt. I'm sorry.
whatever you want, really. This hand in front. We're gonna start in first position with our feet flexed. There's another one that we're gonna do with our feet pointed. But so your feet are flexed and this knee is off the floor. So kind of like that other combination, you don't wanna flex just from your ankle. You wanna make sure that the entire shape is flexing up. So it's a still straight leg and you still have your muscles engaged. So we're here, okay? You're kind of bouncing on your first 3 toes. Yeah, you don't want to be like back like this and have a turned in leg. Okay, so we're here. Oh, also, you shouldn't be like in a back bend. You should be pretty straight. So if I'm here and I look down, I can still see my ankles and my feet. You don't want it to be like piked forward, but you want to be pretty straight, have really straight hips so everything's stacked instead of having like a sway back. So that's how we're standing or laying. So we start here. We're going to do flex to the front and point and flex and together. Then we go side flex, point, flex, together. To the back, point, flex, together, side, point, flex, together. Now it's really hard. You have to really use your stomach muscles and you don't want your hips to go all over the place. So you can really feel that here if you do that when you're standing up. You'll be able to feel when you go to the front. If you start to sink your hips back that way, You're probably doing that when you're standing up. Side, people don't really have an issue with. The only thing is make sure,
twisting your hips.
yeah, make sure this hip stays stacked on top of this one. Which you do that for every single side, but that's what you're mainly thinking of when you're going to the side. When you go to the back, it's a little bit weird. You don't want to open your hip and lay back, because then you're going to fall over, obviously. So you keep your hips stacked. Woo, keep your hips stacked. Just go back as far as you can. Like, this is as far as I can go, and I'm not really doing it. I'm not going that far, and that's okay, because we're just doing an exercise. We're not actually doing a tendu. But you want to make sure this hip stays on top of this hip. You're going to have to put some pressure on this hand, and you're just thinking about working that inner thigh forward. Yeah, you don't have to think about like turning it out and cranking that heel down to the floor, because obviously you can't do that when you're laying on your side. You're just really focusing on keeping one hip stacked on top of the other. And again, you can really feel if you compromise that. Standing up, you might not realize it standing up, but when you lay down and you do this kind of combination laying on your side, you can really feel what you do to that standing side when you lift your working leg. So, okay, here we go. So we're gonna do it front side, back and side, and again, front side, back and side, and then we'll roll over to the other side. Oh. Do it again, to the left. I'll lay on this side. Front, point, flex, and together. Go up, point, keep turning that leg out. Standing leg is staying really straight. To the back, point, flex, and in, side, and point. Keep one hip stacked on top of the other, and to the front. Keep that heel rotating forward, and standing leg is still straightening, don't forget about it. And to the back. After this one, we're gonna roll to the other side. Switch. Front. Point. Flex. Keep that standing hip. Don't let your standing leg drop. Great. Keep rotating. I'm talking to them. I don't care what you do. Last one. Keep squeezing that standing knee. Woo. That one hurt your butt. Where'd you feel it? Your knees? Okay. Okay, so this one's kind of hard. Same concept, you're laying on your side. I guess I'll do it diagonal. Maybe you can see it better this way. All right, so same way. You can either do this pointed or flexed. It doesn't really matter. I kind of like the flexed because I can turn out better, and it feels better on the standing leg than when I'm pointed. I am more likely to like relax this leg when it's not flexed. I can really feel that muscle when my foot's flexed. So up to you, but this is how I prefer it. So from here, you're gonna flex to the front, you're gonna rond de jambe to second, and then you pull it in. Then you go second, rond de jambe to the back, and pull it in. To the back, pull it second, and in, side, pull it front, and in. You really have
the same thing about your hips.
Yeah, you really have to, you're gonna feel it in your standing hip, so you're really gonna feel, some people, again, if you do this standing up, it's gonna happen when you're laying down. So when you flex to the front, your rond de jambe side, you wanna really think about that hip staying exactly where it is. A lot of people, you're gonna roll back and you're gonna fall on your butt.
That's what I do.
Yeah, so this standing seat muscle is always pinched. It's always pulled up. which is how it should be when you're standing at the bar also. So if you have a hard time doing it here, then maybe you should think about what you're doing when you're standing up. All of these muscles, it feels weird doing it laying down, but in reality, you should be using all these muscles when you're standing up. That's why floor bars are really good, because you can really see what muscles you're not using that you should be using. So keep that in mind. So you're keeping that seat muscle pulled up, that inner thigh is pulling forward, that knee is staying really straight, as it should when you're standing on one leg at any time during ballet class. This, like, all you really have to think about is this hip staying right exactly where it is. Easier said than done, but so again, we just go front, round and jump, second, and together. Second, round and jump, back, together, back, round and jump, in, side, round and jump, in. Here we go. Make sure you subscribe. This is not the time. Make sure your back isn't arched. More. Hold your stomach. Squeeze your standing knee.
I'm engaging my glutes.
Okay.
My abdominals are tight, and I'm doing the best I can.
Okay.
And can I just do it parallel?
No. Okay. So we go flex front. Round and jump. And pull together. I should have gone over counts. Pull up 1, 2, 4 counts to round and jump. Keep that standing hip. 2 counts to pull it. Use that standing legs muscle. Round and jump. Inner thigh pulls around. And we should do it another set.
Oh, that was hard.
It is hard. One more set. And really keep that standing leg solid. So keep squeezing it. That standing seat muscle is really, it does not let go. Otherwise you're gonna fall over.
This is just discouraging.
But it's good for you, right? You're feeling all your muscles working. That's the most important thing. It's okay. I did this a lot when I was training, so.
I don't feel it in my butt.
I do. And my quads, my standing quad.
That's where I also am thinking. I think I use my turnout
From the wrong spot.
well, I know how to use it for my seat, but
They're all connected, so just as long as you feel something working, like
it's right here.
I feel it on the outside of my quad and in my seat, but
I'll let you know where I felt it
everyone's
tomorrow
gonna feel
when I'm
it.
sore.
Yeah, everyone's gonna feel it a little bit differently, like depending on what your body type is. Somebody with maybe not as good of a turnout, like she said earlier, it was hurting the side, right? I don't know what that tendon is called, but that could also be because what you were saying about thinking about keeping your heels up, like pronating that foot and shaping your foot, you're squeezing this tendon. So everyone's gonna be a little bit different, but don't compare whatever you're doing at home to like what it looks like when we're doing it, because
Expectations, reality.
I'll come back here a little bit. Okay. So we go to the front.
Look at my booty.
Round and jump side. Oh, you can't even see my foot.
I know, that's why I was kind of confused.
And together. They don't need to see me, it's fine. Pull up. Round and jump to the back. Keep that standing hip. Keep that standing knee.
I can't get my leg behind me.
And a lot of people can't, that's fine. It might not be directly behind you, that's okay. Just don't forget about that that top hip has to stay right on top of your bottom hip. Halfway done. That standing seat muscle. Stomach is engaged, especially when on this one. This is the hard one.
that top hip right on top of the bottom hip. Woo!
That's how I felt it on my inner thighs. I think I only have like one more. Okay, so I have one more combination, and then the rest are just like workouts for your turnout stuff. Last combination is développé, so I think it's best if I face diagonal. I think this is my angle. So I go up to my passe. I go to attitude. Now, when you go to attitude, it's not about how high you're getting your leg. It's about keeping your seat muscles exactly where they are. So you go to attitude front. This is where I go. I'm not dropping this, so you know what I mean? You straighten it up and you squeeze that leg down. So we go passe. Attitude side, the seat muscle does not move. You straighten it out. It's really uncomfortable. The seat muscle doesn't move. Even this leg on this side, the seat muscle does not move. And you bring it together. A lot of people, you're gonna go to attitude and you're gonna release that muscle. It needs to be up like this, not like this. It's kind of hard to understand. Like once you do it and you feel it, it makes sense. But again, when you're just standing up in fifth position and you go to passe and you go to attitude, if you are a person that rocks their hips back when you go to attitude front, then you're gonna do that laying on the ground. So you really wanna feel that standing seat muscle really pinch the whole time. The one to the side is kind of weird, just let you know. So we'll go 2 to the front, 2 to the side on the right, and then 2 to the front, 2 to the side on the left. And then that's it. Then we're doing some exercises and we're done. So we go passe, 2, attitude, keep that standing hip, stretch it up, long leg on the way down, keep it reaching, keep it straightening, one more time, passe, attitude, keep that standing hip, standing seat muscle, straighter leg on the way down. Now to the side, we go passe. Don't let go of that hip. Attitude. And stretch. And one more time. You got this. Don't let go of it, Liesl. Keep that seat muscle. Hold it, use your stomach. Yeah. Side, passe. Woo. It's just awkward, really. This is too advanced for me. Long straight leg on the way down. One more to the front. Almost done. To the side. That hip, that seat muscle. Keep the working seat muscle also. Just gonna put my leg under yours. Last one, you got it. Don't let go of it. I don't know which seat I'm using. Both.
I felt that in my lower abs more than anything. I didn't feel it anywhere else.
My inner thighs are really.
Maybe you just don't use the right muscle.
I think it's
we
because,
never feel the same muscle.
No, I think it's because I'm trying to really, like that entire combination, I was just trying to keep my hips down. So like when I went to passe, like obviously I'm gonna go like this because like my knee is heavier. So I don't know if you saw, but I kept going like this because I'm trying to turn out my standing leg. And with doing that, like obviously I'm like letting go. So I did like that entire combination was my lower abs.
Yeah, I mean,
You do use your abs when you dance. It's
Yeah.
a combination of everything. Like, and again, we feel in different places because our bodies are different. But I'm also naturally like swayed back. Like I have hip issues. So like for me to do this, like I can't.
I mean, a lot of people have that issue, I'm sure. Like,
if you have a hard time, especially in acro, like
Yeah,
doing
like
toes to
handstands.
head and those kinds of
Well,
things.
handstands facing against whatever, and like having that,
Like
I
a straight
can't pull
hip.
this up here, so it's like, well, I don't want to say I can't, it's just that like the way my body is built, so it's like, for me to hold this position, like, this is straight, right?
Yeah.
But like, as soon as I go up, it's like, doing other things at once,
Yeah.
Well,
So
so
I would
if
say-
I had this when I was younger, and if we did all this stuff like when we were younger, it
Yeah.
would be completely different for me.
Well, that's the thing. Like, yeah. So a lot of people watching, like, hopefully, if you're watching, you might have a similar issue. And again, so what she's saying is, it was difficult for her. Like when she could hold those hips in place, but as soon as she got to a certain point, like it started to go back because she doesn't have that flexibility. If that's the case for you, then maybe like just take a few minutes during the day, even just like starting in first and just like going up to like a coupe position.
Yeah, I would recommend
And
just
finding
doing that
it,
combination through coupe.
and just coming down and just, yeah, maybe if this was like 2 over your head, try it in coupe. But yeah, if you have issues like that, just like stretching it and trying to work those muscles just from first position, even just going up and coming down, going up and coming down, just trying to not let go of those muscles just as many times as you can. That's why I said this combination is kind of like advanced, because it's hard to be that aware of your body when you're doing things with your legs high in the air. So those are all the ballet exercises. Now we just have like a few
other things to torture us with.
Kinda. So for this, you're just gonna lay on your side. Again, you can be here, you can be here. We're just like relaxing. We're not using any muscles here. So I like to be here. Your hip is right on top of the bottom hip, just like all of our combinations, but this leg is just kind of flopped on top. My bottom leg is bent. You're just gonna lift your knee up as high as you can with your hips staying flat and bring it back down. And that's all we're doing for a full song. So
let's pick warm up song.
So she'll probably speed through this because you don't need to watch me do this a million times. But you can put on your favorite song. Like this is something really easy that you can do before.
We can pick a song.
We can.
Let's pick a good one.
This is something that you can do like in your bed before you go to sleep. Like it's super simple. You're literally just doing this over and over again. But you really start to feel it. You're gonna feel it in your seat muscles. You're gonna feel it in the correct spot in your seat muscles if you really focus on not moving this hip. So a lot of people, when they lift their knee up, again, you can't really see it from this angle, but when you lift your knee up, this hip is not moving. And if you keep doing it like that, you're gonna feel your muscles kick in. When you lift your knee, to get your knee up to the ceiling, you compromise it by pushing your hip back, you're not gonna feel anything because you're not really working any muscles. So mine goes pretty high, again, because that's the way that my body is. I can get my knee pretty up. A lot of people I've seen can only go to here, and that's okay. You're literally just strengthening your turnout muscle. So that's all we're doing. This one, your bottom leg is straight. Again, it's just relaxed. It doesn't need to be like pulled up or like, pointed or anything. You just have a straight leg. The leg on top, so the last combination, our hips were stacked. This one, your hip is a little bit in front. So if you were looking at me from this angle, this hip is a little bit like pitched forward and you're really using this hand in front. This leg is completely parallel.
Oh,
So
I can
you
do
want
that.
You're trying to get your heel up to the ceiling and your toes down to the floor. And you're gonna be like this. Like, it's kind of hard to see. Like this. Okay. And all you're doing is lifting your heel up to the ceiling with a really, really straight leg. This leg is engaged. This one doesn't need to be. And you pull your toes down to the floor. Really try to touch the floor behind this standing foot. And you're just gonna do that for a full song. This one, again, I really feel this one.
Yeah, where am I supposed to feel it?
I feel it. So the last one was targeted mainly like in your butt cheek. This one is targeted like down your IT band. So you're gonna feel it a little bit further down into the back of your leg rather than just right here. You're really gonna feel it in your inner thigh also. So you really wanna make sure that when you pull this leg up, you're really trying to get that heel up to the ceiling, but you're really squeezing this knee. Here we go. So you're really gonna have to lean on this hand because you're pitched forward a little bit with this hip. Have fun. Just pick watermelon sugar.
Tastes like strawberries
Oh wait,
on
a
a
few counts.
summer evening.
This is longer, so just wait a little bit. Sing a little bit.
All right, start now. Here we go. So after that, you want to like do some
Go
kind of hip
eat
opener.
some ice cream.
No. So this is my favorite one. Again, it might not look like this on everybody, but put one knee on top of the other. If you look at it from the side, your feet should be in a straight line this way. You don't want to be back like this.
Mine's Mount Everest.
So this just really opens up that hip.
Yeah, no, this hurts more than the exercises.
Well, you're releasing that muscle. Any stretch that you do that's like a hip opener, your body's like pushing against it at first, but if you just sit in it, your body kind of gives in, and it's like, okay, we're doing this, and then
This used to be so much
it feels
flatter.
better. So you can just sit here for a minute. Do the other side. This one hurts more. You should feel it in the hip or the seat muscle of the leg that's on top. I still feel it a little bit on the bottom one, but this is the one that I feel it a lot on.
Oh no, I feel it on the bottom one
Really?
only when I do this.
Push that seat down.
Both
You
of
don't feel it?
both of them are on the floor. It's because I think this leg
She's weird.
is pushing this leg down.
Yeah,
I don't feel it in this leg.
I feel it in this leg.
But also I was just kind of sitting in it for a little bit. Now I feel it in my bottom leg.
Weird. Let us know in the comments which leg you feel it in.
Let us know in the comments below.
Who you've agreed with throughout this whole thing. If you're more of a Lisa or
If you're more of an expectations or a reality.
that's like a very basic floor bar. Like we did plies, we did tendus, we did some like leg exercises, we did développés. There's not much that you can do like laying on the, we did rond de jambes. There's not much that you can do really laying on the ground. Like I can do, frappe and whatnot. But
That'd be kind of cool.
it's just really important. So a lot of the exercises, obviously, they're not gonna look great. But it's really just like an eye-opener for you as a dancer, what you compensate when you're at the bar doing stuff. Because a lot of times we get too focused in the mirror and we're trying to make a certain shape where we forget about what our muscles are actually doing, especially our standing side, like letting that seat muscle go, letting that hip go back so that our passe looks like it's better, those kinds of things. But when you're on the ground, like, you really can't hide any of those things. So, and us as dance teachers, like when we say get your knee back or whatever in a passe, that doesn't mean let go of all those other things. It means keep that foundation and then try to work that shape. Yeah. So a lot of times we kind of forget to mention that, but going forward, remember those things when you're taking ballet class. And this is kind of floor bar is something that you can do. If you have a favorite exercise from this, you can just, it literally doesn't take that long. 2 minutes of your day can make a big difference. Those clamshells and that leg rise, I don't really know what to call that. Those last 2 exercises we do, I used to do those before I go to bed. Like, they're really easy to just do anywhere that you're laying down. So thanks for watching. If you made it this far, thank you. Let me know if you feel it anywhere. Let me know if you take this class, and let me know how you like it. You can DM me on Instagram or something. She'll put it right here. Follow me. See ya.
All right, I'm ending this.
Peace out. Bye.